excited. Finally happening. Foundation's going in, which is awesome. They're working hard. Hello, welcome to the channel. I am going to be posting a construction update because I'm definitely due for one. If you're new to this channel, my name's Sarah. I help people move to Costa Rica. We have a relocation program. We take people through A to Z, through the whole process. We help them before, during, and after. So if you're thinking about relocating, you're thinking about even just taking a scouting trip too, we also help with those. Definitely feel free to book a call. My link is in the description below. It's a free call. We talk for 30 minutes. We go through your questions. It's nice for me. I like to get to know people and understand kind of where their needs are. And if it ends up we work together, great. If not, I always make sure that you end up with some helpful information that's gonna put you on the right track for sure, at least in figuring out if Costa Rica is the right decision for you. And also I'd like to mention, so Expat Retreats. So this will just be a little short blip about those. These are still going. I'm not hosting them anymore, but the format's pretty much the same. So if you want more information on future Expat Retreats, there was just one this few weeks ago here. And yeah, you can find that on my website as well. I'll also have the link in the description below. It's pretty much a week. You come, you learn from the top experts in the seminars. You get the option if you want to go do really cool activities. And most importantly, well, you get to meet and spend time with the speakers, which is great. And also you get to meet others who are also thinking about moving to Costa Rica. So that's super cool. I love the sense of camaraderie that people seem to come out of that week with. So yes, and now let's get into the information. This is a little bit of the neighborhood. It's super cute. I picked this neighborhood because it's just like a mix of houses. Well, first of all, it's a gated community. Lots of green spaces. It's got a little community rancho and pool area. And I love that it's a mix of houses and it's a mix of like owners that are from other countries, but also local Costa Rican owners, which I think is super cool. So it's nice to be in like a neighborhood that's a mix of everyone. I love seeing houses of all different shapes and sizes. And, you know, I don't personally, you know, I love looking around and just seeing different things versus like kind of cookie cutter, everything looks the same. So I think this has been a great neighborhood. It's an excellent location. I'm excited to live here. So obviously we're building the house to sell, which you guys are going to be hearing plenty about since we're going to be trying to sell it. But I also have I'm building a house in here too. So I've chosen this place for myself personally, and I do love this location, and I think it'll be a great spot for, it'll be a great spot for, you know, anyone who does think that this area is also a good fit for them. So constructing in Costa Rica. So I posted some videos recently. So one was about like where to find properties, kind of the overall purchase process, what you should be thinking about, like should you even buy property. So I'll definitely have those in the description below too, but I'm going to give an update on kind of what my process has been so far. So I am building 2 houses, so that's pretty exciting. It's been a big project so far, but it's been a good experience, and I'm going to walk you through kind of the steps that we've been going. And of course, well, one of these houses is going to be for sale, so I can give you information on that too. So kind of my first step in this whole process was picking a builder. So I had to think of who did I want to be my builder, because actually I knew that I wanted my contractor to come with me to look at lots. So I went based off of a personal referral. I will be super happy to recommend the builder that I'm using when all is said and done. They've been fantastic. Everything's been going super smooth. They've been very communicative. They're actually from outside of San Jose. They do have someone who speaks English on their team. But you know, it's been a great experience with them. They've been really organized, and I've been really happy working with them. So I will be very excited to recommend them. But as you guys know, I'm very picky in my recommendations. So let me finish using them first, make sure that everything goes well. And I mean, I suspect I will definitely be working on another project with them. So I'm excited to be able to recommend them in the future for sure. Picking a builder is really important because you will see horror stories online about unfinished project. I mean, just, yeah, it's a big deal. Picking your big builder is such a big deal because, you know, you're spending big money on this construction. If you're doing it with someone who's not reputable, it can become a really bad situation. And usually it's not going to end in your favor because, you know, the legal process is very slow. So picking your builder is the most important to make sure that things go smooth, that they can guide you in the right direction. So for like picking your lot, so that's kind of the next step. I knew I wanted to build, so then it was time to look at lots. There was the due diligence. I needed my builder and a great lawyer. So with those 2 things, and watch that other video, how to find property in Costa Rica. It'll be linked below. That'll tell you kind of how to find things. And you know, I found both of my lots on Facebook Marketplace. Didn't go through a real estate agent. Not saying you shouldn't, but I talked through the different options and how you can actually figure out the market price in your area, and how you can actually find sales with direct owners and how to go about it in that video. So that's a really good one. But picking the lot was the next step. I definitely went through a lot of them, went through plenty of them to kind of X off the list and go, nope, okay, not this one, nope, okay, not this one. And my builder was a big piece of that. He was able to see things that I did not see when looking at these lots. So finally, I did settle on 2 lots. I shot one of them, and then I realized that the one next door a few months later was also for sale, so I decided to go for that one as well. With the purchase process, I'll definitely do a more in-depth video on that. There's the due diligence process that's done with the lawyer. You have a kind of that preliminary contract saying, your purchase option, stating that, okay, this owner can't sell the property while you're in your due diligence process with the lawyer. But if something comes up during due diligence, then you can kind of exit out of that purchase agreement. So, everything went fine with both the due diligence processes for these lots. I picked ones that I knew already had water and electricity and shouldn't, have any issues, and everything did go really smooth. But it still took a while. It still took some months, because not every owner is going to have a nice, neat packet, due diligence packet ready to hand you for your lawyer to look over and review and go, okay, great, all done. In my case, I had to chase down a lot of information. That meant going to the municipality, going to different offices to get some of this stuff. So I'm definitely going to have like a little due diligence package ready to hand over to whoever wants to buy the property that we're selling, because this just makes life easier. And I kind of wish all sellers would do that. It would be great. So next, after the lot was purchased, it was kind of time to go on to the design process. So like really thinking about what we wanted to do with these properties, what I want to do with my house that I'm building, what do we want to do with the house that we're building to sell. Kind of thinking about, okay, what is the quality of the construction that we want? What is the price per square meter, price per square foot? What is the design that we want? How big do we want the house to be? What are some features? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? So kind of once we at least knew like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, I kind of picked the builder that I knew already did the kind of design that I liked, which was like open, modern, just very airy, bright, happy. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. So they already knew exactly what I wanted. It was great. So, they did give us some different options to look at. And then, but they even said, okay, well, here's some options. If you're not happy with these, we make more, no worries, and that was cool. So we did end up settling on one. I kind of had a design at first in my head, but after seeing some of the things that they came up with, I was like, oh, wow, this is even better. This is super cool. So the design process was good. It really did consist of multiple weekly meetings to kind of work on the finer details of things. Okay, once we got the general layout, then the renders were made, and then we have like, kind of the blueprints, and then they have to do I'm not a designer, the electro engineering, the water systems, where are the outlets, like it got really detailed. And so, we'd meet, they'd kind of go over with what they had done, and then we could decide during the week, like, okay, are there any changes that we want to make? Okay, hey, let's add an extra outlet. Like me, I wanted to put outlets in the closets, because then I can put dehumidifiers in the closet. So we definitely thought of some things and like some nice unique features in the house that I've lived in so many houses, guys, maybe like more than 20. So I've really figured out what I think is great and what is not so great in houses here in Costa Rica. So closets, oh my gosh, closets. There's closets, and closets are hard to find. So just, being conscious about placement of certain items and things in the house and making sure that things flow and that they make sense. So the design process was fun, because it was kind of like watching everything come together and getting excited about what it's going to look like. But it was also like a technical process too. And once that was done, like once we had finally settled on the design, then it was time to, start looking at getting the permits. So when we went to do our permits, we were kind of in that December range. So if you guys know, like Christmas, New Year, all that stuff, that's a big deal here in Costa Rica. So a lot of offices are closed and into January even. So, and that was okay. So our permits did take a little bit, but honestly, it didn't take very long. We didn't have anything held up with the permits. Everything, because we already knew that our ducks were in a row with the properties that, with the lots. So I really didn't suspect we would have any issues with the permitting. Obviously the construction company knew exactly what boundaries they needed to stay in for the size of the house. They educated us on a lot of those components too, which I really appreciated. Every time they explained to us why something was placed a certain way. So I definitely have learned a lot myself through this process too. And, you know, just due to them also kind of educating me on why things are done a certain way, which I think is important. So yeah, the permits got approved, paid the taxes on those. It was great. You know, things got submitted to the official agency for the planos, you know, for the blueprints. And essentially, you know, from there, we have this packet that I could take to any builder. And, you know, after the design process, I could technically take this and someone else could build it if I wanted. But for me, I did want to go with the company who did the design. Like I said, I have full 100% trust in them, and I'm excited to be working with them. So I didn't do that. But essentially, you could have another agency create the design and do all of that work, and then have a separate person do the actual construction. So that is possible too. But in my case, I did want to use, you know, people we've been working with. I don't want to use anybody else right now. So after the permits, you know, once we have the permits, like, things are ready to go. It was time to hook up the water was already here on site. We hooked it up, connected a meter. With the electricity, now that was a fun part, because this is a gated community. We do have a guy here, kind of like a guard-ish guy, but the electric company kept showing up, saw the gate was closed, and just leaving. And we were like, I was like, oh my gosh, do I have to sit out there like for 2 days until they show up or something? But eventually, finally, they did get in, they connected the electricity, and we were able to start. So yeah, starting construction was super exciting. They're going. I mean, they've been working. I live right down the street, so I come check on it every day. It's been going great. I'm very excited to see the progress. Just stopped by now and I see that, you know, the foundation's starting to go in. It's really exciting to see just, you know, that moment from like buying the lots to then designing the home, and then now the house is actually being constructed. And honestly, like, I don't think I've had any gray hairs over this process. Like I said, you might read those nightmares. Of course, I'll post an update and let you guys know how it's going. But no, it's been good so far. So let's just see how things continue, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated.